The hum of the orbital station thrummed beneath Marcus Hale's boots as he led his team down the corridor. The station, a hulking construct of steel and titanium, floated like a jagged sentinel above the dead moon, its surface scarred from centuries of cosmic debris. Hale's eyes swept the walls, noting the subtle glyphs etched into the alloy. Alien script, elegant and alien, glowing faintly with an iridescent blue. They weren't just here for a demonstration. He could feel it in the tense undercurrent of the air. Chief Petty Officer Grant Ward trailed a step behind, adjusting the strap on his pulse rifle. His eyes flicked toward the alien markings with a smirk that didn't reach the tension in his jaw. "Nice digs," Ward said. "Almost makes me forget we're probably on display for some intergalactic zoo committee." "Don't let the shiny corridors fool you," Hale replied without looking back. "These guys measure everything, even our heartbeat." Petty Officer Rafi Calder, the youngest in the unit, fiddled nervously with his data pad. "I've been studying their movement patterns," he said quietly. "The observers, they're not here to train us. They're cataloging behavior, responses, maybe even emotions. I've never seen surveillance this meticulous." Hale allowed a small nod. Calder's instincts were sharp, and in this environment, even the smallest misread could cost them dearly. Ahead, the main chamber opened like a cathedral of alien architecture. Towering over them were figures clad in polished armor that caught the artificial light in dazzling reflections. Admiral Threxin Vrok stepped forward, a commanding presence whose every movement conveyed authority. He regarded the humans with a mixture of curiosity and amusement. "Terran warriors," he said, his voice deep and resonant. "We have observed your species for decades. Adaptive, resilient. But let us see if these qualities withstand the crucible of real trial." Next to him, Captain Rulvar, his second-in-command, leaned slightly forward. The alien's multifaceted eyes glimmered with an unsettling intensity. "Trial," he repeated with a sharp edge. "We will test your capabilities. Prove that your muscle and reflexes match your reputation." Marcus felt the subtle shift in the air. This was no ceremonial drill. Rulvar's tone carried the promise of danger. "Understood," Hale said carefully. "But rules must be equal. Anything else is not a test, it's an ambush." Rulvar's lips curved into a thin, alien smile. "Equal, yes, if you survive our definition of fairness." His eyes darted toward the chamber's far end, where shimmering panels hinted at a vast, unknown arena. Ward chuckled low. "Great. A jungle gym for monsters. Can't wait." Calder's fingers tightened around his pad. "Marcus, the projections, they're showing multiple hazard zones. Gravity shifts, drone swarms, and—" Hale cut him off with a glance. "I saw it. We adapt. That's what we do." The Admiral's gaze remained fixed on them, unreadable but electric with anticipation. "Your species thrives under pressure," Vrok said, almost conversationally. "But pressure can break even the strongest of forms." Marcus squared his shoulders. "Then we'll see if humans break." Rulvar's laugh echoed in the chamber, a sound like chimes struck by steel. "Bold words, human. We shall witness if they are more than bravado. The trial begins shortly. Prepare yourselves, or die in the attempt." As the team was guided toward the entry point, the human soldiers exchanged glances. There was no fear, not in the usual sense. Fear had a name and a cause, and they were trained to confront it directly. What hovered over them here was uncertainty, the kind that gnawed at the edges of the mind because nothing in their experience had prepared them for alien warfare. Hale took a deep breath, feeling the weight of responsibility settle on his shoulders. He had trained for countless hostile environments, faced enemies who struck without mercy, and yet the calculus here was different. Every instinct screamed that the rules they understood might not exist in this arena. But there was no retreat. That wasn't the way of a SEAL. Ward clapped him on the shoulder. "Well, boss, looks like we're the lab rats this time. Let's make sure they remember the experiment." Calder cracked a tight smile, the tension easing slightly. "I've got a few tricks up my sleeve, too. Let's just hope they don't expect human improvisation." Hale's eyes scanned the room one final time. Alien observers hovered on elevated platforms, recording every nuance, a twitch of muscle, the cadence of their steps, even the subtle changes in their breathing. And beyond them, the arena loomed, vast, unfamiliar, and deadly in the promise it radiated. He nodded once, sharply.
Team.
Stay sharp. Watch each other's backs. And remember this, they want to see if we can survive. Let's show them why humanity endures. The chamber doors hissed open. A blinding light spilled into the corridor, illuminating the start of the trial. The SEALs stepped forward together, a unit bound by discipline, courage, and the unspoken understanding that failure was not an option. Somewhere beyond the threshold, Captain Arulvar's amusement awaited, but Marcus was certain of one thing: humans had a way of turning impossible odds into opportunity. As the doors closed behind them, the alien observers leaned closer, their instruments whirring. Admiral Vieroque tilted his head, a faint smile playing on his lips. This will be interesting. And with that, the humans crossed into the unknown. The arena stretched before them, a sprawling labyrinth of alien architecture designed to disorient and intimidate. Gravity shifted subtly, walls tilted at impossible angles, and the air shimmered with a fine, metallic haze that set every nerve on edge. Marcus Hale's boots barely made a sound as he surveyed the field, noting choke points, elevated vantage areas, and hidden recesses that could serve as cover. Ward snorted beside him. Looks like someone designed this just to watch us die slow and pretty. Observation is their priority, Hale replied. Survival is ours. Rafi Calder crouched low, eyes scanning the alien schematics on his pad. The drones alone are calibrated to predict our movements. They can anticipate common human tactics within seconds. Then we'll be uncommon, Hale said. That's the only way through. The first wave appeared without warning. Bioluminescent drones swarmed down corridors and over walls, scanning for heat signatures and movement patterns. Their whirs and clicks reverberated unnaturally, almost sentient in rhythm. Marcus barked a command, and the SEALs split, Ward taking the left flank, Calder moving with Marcus to the right. Bullets from standard-issue rifles pinged harmlessly off the drone's alloy shells. Marcus cursed under his breath. They weren't kidding about the imbalance. But physics is our ally. Calder's fingers flew across his pad. If I can override their flight algorithms, we can redirect at least a few of them. Give me 30 seconds. Ward grinned, tossing a flashbang at an approaching squad of drones. 30 seconds, huh? Hope you're faster than they are. Explosions and electromagnetic pulses erupted across the corridor, and the drones hesitated, recalculating patterns. Calder seized the moment, hacking one and turning it against its own squad. The sudden betrayal caused confusion among the swarm, buying the humans a brief advantage. Meanwhile, Hale's eyes tracked movement in the far end of the arena. Alien soldiers, tall, sinewy, clad in adaptive armor, emerged, their gait calculated and precise. They were faster, stronger, and armed with energy weapons calibrated for lethality. Marcus signaled a tactical retreat toward a narrow overhang. They'll follow, he muttered. Let's make them regret it. Ward set up a makeshift barricade using debris and improvised explosives. Regret is a strong word, he said with a grin. We prefer pain. As the SEALs advanced, Calder's fingers continued to dance across his interface, manipulating environmental controls. Gravity zones shifted again, but Marcus had anticipated the change, using low gravity to launch himself and Ward onto higher platforms, drawing the alien soldiers into predictable patterns. A shot rang out. Ward yelped as a laser grazed his armor. These guys aren't playing fair, he shouted, firing back. They never do, Hale muttered, diving behind cover. We adapt. That's the point. The battle escalated as a sudden storm of nanite fog descended, reducing visibility to mere meters. The SEALs moved as one, silent signals and hand gestures replacing verbal commands. Every movement was deliberate, every step measured. Calder's tech hacked the fog generators just long enough to create pockets of clarity. Hale spotted a weak structural beam overhead. Ward, cover me. I have an idea. Ward's rifle barked, drawing alien fire. Hale sprinted forward, planting explosives at the base of the support. The beam shuddered and collapsed, crushing a squad of alien soldiers and altering the battlefield's landscape. Even Rulvar's expression, visible on the observation feed, shifted from amusement to frustration. "Primitive creatures," he muttered. "They adapt unnaturally." Admiral Vrok's observation platform, in contrast, radiated quiet intrigue. "Efficiency under pressure," he said. "They are remarkable." The SEALs pressed forward, exploiting every environmental quirk. Gravity inversions allowed sudden vertical assaults. Improvised trip mines funneled alien troops into confined areas. Hacked drones provided sporadic cover fire. Human ingenuity transformed disadvantage into opportunity. A sudden alarm blared. Red lights flooded the arena, indicating a new hazard, an artificial storm of electric arcs cutting through metal walkways. Calder's pad indicated lethal readings, and Hale's jaw tightened. "This isn't a test anymore. They're trying to kill us." Ward smirked despite the danger. "Then let's show them how stubborn humans can be." Marcus led the team through the labyrinth, exploiting the storm's predictable arcs. They used timing, shadows, and misdirection to neutralize threats without direct confrontation. The SEALs' cohesion was flawless, each man anticipating the other's moves instinctively. At the far end of the arena, the floor gave way to a deep chasm, simulated by holographic projection. The alien soldiers hesitated, calculated uncertainty. Marcus saw his chance. He signaled Calder to hack the floor's holographic controls. The chasm appeared real to the approaching troops, forcing them to pause and recalculate their advance. For a brief moment, silence reigned. The SEALs, breathing hard, regrouped. Marcus surveyed the arena, noting every strength and weakness they could exploit in the next wave. Rulvar's eyes narrowed as he observed. "Impressive. But the true trial has yet to begin," he hissed, his fingers drumming against the console. Vrok's expression remained unreadable, though a faint smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. "They fight like cornered predators," he murmured. "I wonder, will they survive the final stage?" Hale looked at his team, his voice low but firm. "We've survived the first wave. This isn't over. Remember, adapt, improvise, survive. That's who we are." As the next hazard indicators lit up the arena's panels, Calder muttered under his breath, eyes wide. "Something's coming, and it's big." Hale nodded, tightening his grip on his rifle. "Let them come. We're ready." The arena's lights dimmed, and a distant, guttural roar reverberated through the corridors. The human team exchanged brief glances, understanding in unspoken words. Whatever waited beyond the next threshold, it would be their greatest challenge yet. And the galaxy was about to learn why humans were never to be underestimated. A guttural roar echoed through the arena, vibrating through the steel beneath Marcus Hale's boots. The dim red hazard lights illuminated massive shapes emerging from the shadows, biomech war beasts, towering over human size by twice, plated in black alloy that shimmered with adaptive energy fields. Their multi-jointed limbs ended in razor-sharp talons, and segmented mandibles clicked rhythmically as if calculating the human's next move. Ward's jaw tightened. "Now they really want us dead. I like it." Calder's eyes widened as he scanned the creature's neural patterns. "These things, they're semi-sentient. They learn, adapt. Every attack we make, they record, and adjust their strategy. We don't have the advantage of predictability anymore." Hale crouched low, assessing the battlefield. "Then we'll force unpredictability. They've never fought humans like us before." The first warbeast lunged, talons scraping sparks off the metal floor. Hale rolled to the side, narrowly avoiding a swipe that would have severed bone and armor alike. Ward fired, but the rounds glanced off reinforced plating. "We're going to need more than bullets," Hale muttered. Calder's fingers danced across his interface, hacking environmental controls. A section of the arena floor shifted, opening a trapdoor beneath one of the beasts. The creature roared in frustration, but quickly recalibrated. Hale realized this was no ordinary combat. The beasts were learning from each engagement. "We need patterns," he shouted. "They have weaknesses." Ward pointed. "Notice how they swivel slower when turning their rear claws. And the acid glands, there's a half-second lag between attack and recovery. Exploit that." Hale nodded.
Good.
"Calder, keep the drones active as distractions. Ward and I will coordinate strikes using cover and timing." The team moved like clockwork, humans leveraging every ounce of improvisation and instinct. Ward baited a warbeast into overextending, Hale dropped a makeshift explosive from overhead, and Calder's hacked drone darted in to harass the creature's sensors. One by one, they toppled the biomechs, or at least forced them into tactical retreats. Arulvar's face twisted in fury on the observation feed. Impossible. They adapt unnaturally fast. Human reflexes, combined with improvisation, this was not anticipated. VROK, observing silently, leaned forward. "Remarkable. They do not fight as we expected. They innovate under pressure. That is noteworthy." But the reprieve was short. The arena's hazard systems activated once more. Gravity shifts intensified, magnetic pulses scrambled Calder's interface intermittently, and automated drones fired with lethal precision. Hale realized the trial had escalated beyond any standard test. They were being hunted. Ward gritted his teeth. "They're not testing us anymore. They're trying to kill us." "Exactly," Hale replied. "And that makes this a true assessment. Not strength, survival." The SEALs moved with coordinated efficiency, turning every environmental quirk into an advantage. Calder remotely triggered a gravity inversion, sending one warbeast crashing into a reinforced pillar. Ward planted an improvised mine along a collapsing walkway, luring another creature to its doom. Hale exploited shadows and timing to maneuver between strikes, keeping the team intact. Despite the chaos, Marcus maintained control. Observe, improvise, act decisively. Remember, the arena is a tool, not a trap. We dictate the terms. Calder's eyes flicked to the console, noting energy patterns. "If I can overload the central power conduit, I can disable their adaptive shields. But I'll need cover." "I've got you," Ward said, already moving into position. Hale directed the team to create diversions, drawing the warbeasts away from Calder. It was a risky gambit. One mistake, one miscalculation, and they could lose a man or all of them. The largest biomech pivoted, acid glands spitting a green mist that corroded metal. Hale dived beneath the spray, taking out a support beam with a grenade to destabilize the platform. The creature faltered, exposing a vulnerable joint. Ward's precision shot disabled it, and the warbeast collapsed with a metallic screech. Arulvar slammed a claw against his console. "They are exploiting everything. Every weakness." VROK's voice cut through the tension, calm, but with unmistakable awe. "Humans do not merely survive. They innovate, manipulate, and conquer the challenge." Fascinating. As the last warbeasts were neutralized, or at least temporarily incapacitated, the arena's lights dimmed, signaling the next phase. Hale wiped sweat from his brow, checking on Ward and Calder. They were bruised, exhausted, but alive. And more importantly, they had learned the beast's patterns, weaknesses, and limitations. A new alert flashed across Calder's pad. Supersoldiers, elite alien warriors enhanced beyond standard limits, were now being deployed. Hale's eyes narrowed. Arulvar was escalating the trial to a level that tested not just survival or ingenuity, but every ounce of human resolve. Ward smirked, adjusting his rifle. "Looks like round 2 is going to be fun." Calder's fingers trembled slightly over his interface. "We're outnumbered, outgunned, and now outmatched in raw strength. But I think we can use what we've learned. We have a chance." Hale surveyed the arena one last time. Every pillar, corridor, and open space had been mapped in his mind. Every weakness of the biomechs exploited. And now, with the supersoldiers approaching, it would be a matter of applying the same principle. Study, adapt, improvise, survive. The ground shook as the first wave of supersoldiers entered. Hale's team tightened formation, hearts racing but unshaken. "Remember what we are," he said, voice low but steady. "We are humans. We survive when all odds are against us. We adapt. We overcome. And we will." A final roar echoed from the approaching threat, the sound reverberating like a challenge across the arena. The SEALs exchanged grim nods. There would be no room for error now. The trial had escalated from impossible to lethal, but Marcus knew one truth remained. Human ingenuity, courage, and cohesion could turn any battlefield in their favor. And the galaxy would soon learn why humans were never to be underestimated. The arena trembled as the supersoldiers entered, each a towering figure of muscle, alloy, and neural augmentation. Their visors glowed with cold precision, weapons humming with lethal energy. Marcus Hale's jaw tightened. These were no ordinary combatants. They were engineered for dominance, genetically and technologically enhanced beyond anything his team had encountered. Ward's grin was tight, brittle with tension. "Big, ugly, and mean. I like those odds." Calder's fingers hovered over his interface. "Marcus, they're linked to a central AI grid. Coordinated attacks, adaptive shielding, we're not just fighting them. We're fighting their intelligence." Hale scanned the arena. Every environmental element, every previous obstacle, had prepared them for this moment. "Then we don't fight them directly," he said. "We fight the battlefield. We make it our weapon." The team moved with synchronized precision. Calder hacked into the arena's system remotely, identifying power nodes that controlled shields and gravity fields. Hale directed Ward and Calder to create diversions, forcing the supersoldiers into choke points. Every step, every movement was calculated to exploit environmental weaknesses and human unpredictability. The first clash was brutal. Hale dodged a plasma strike, rolling beneath a fallen column while Ward lobbed an improvised explosive. The super soldier staggered, its advanced reflexes caught off guard. Calder,